Hi, everybody, and welcome to Why Are You an Entrepreneur? This is all about the trials and triumphs of rock star entrepreneurs that I bring to you every single week who are moving, shaking, making things happen in the entrepreneurial world, ready to share their journey with you, some of their own trials and tribulations, how they've overcome it, best practices that you can go ahead and implement into your business, and some inspiration. You are not alone in this journey. I'm Maureen Edwards. I'm the founder of 8 Simple Steps, and you know what I'm all about. And if you don't, tuning in for the very first time, I make converting customers simple. So if you're doing a lot of marketing right now, you even have a strong online presence and the business is still not moving, you don't have a marketing problem, you've got a messaging problem. So let's turn that around. It's much easier than you think. So tonight, absolutely, I got another rock star for you. I have Regina Garay, and she has the coolest name for a business. Right Brain Loves Left. Okay. Welcome, Regina.
Thank you, Maureen. Thank you. I'm a big fan of yours. As you know, I saw, and I'll talk about my business in a minute, but I saw Maureen give a SCORE presentation. It was phenomenal. She was talking about pricing. I was like, she's got it. Perfect. So that's why I wanted to come on and chat with you and get to know you and all that. But in terms of my name, Right Brain Loves Left, I was a working artist for many years. And I told myself, I'm an artist, I'm a right brain thinker, I don't know anything about math. I just, and so I kind of ignored that. And then I realized one day that I did budgets, I kept stock, I created proposals, I did invoices, I did all sorts of things that require an analytical mindset. And so I realized in order to have the best success for your projects and your business, you have to bring in together the analytical and the creative together. And so that's why I said right brain loves left.
Love this, because I always say the metrics drive the creative. And a lot of people don't like science. They don't like the metrics. Like, this is an art and a science. So it's funny you combined the art side and the creative side. And so my big question is, why are you a business owner? Why did you take on entrepreneurship? Were you an artist for another company and decided to go off on your own? Or have you been doing this forever?
In terms of owning a small business, it's been quite a while, but I worked in the corporate world, and you sort of had to come to an understanding about yourself and who you are and what path you'd like to take. And for me, I thought, I want to own my own business. I want to set my own hours. I mean, I set that, but you work very hard as a small business owner. So there's really no set hours there, but that's what I wanted to do. And I wanted to call my own shots. And that's what I did for many, many years as an artist, is I, worked in hotels and boutiques and commercial spaces. So I love the small business life.
I love hearing this. But I have to ask you a big question, because going from a corporate arena is so different. And there are just so many people out there who have left corporate either by choice to control their own destiny, or a lot of them have been pushed out of their marketplace. I see a lot of ageism out there, unfortunately, and they're becoming entrepreneurs, but not necessarily ever expecting to do that. So when you had to make that transition from corporate to owning your own business, can you share what some of the biggest challenges were, and that maybe some people will be facing out there, and how you overcame them?
The biggest challenge is discipline, because when you're in a corporate world, I'm just going to say working 9 to 5. Other people work 10 to 7, or there's different hours, but you have a set amount of hours. You have to be at work and you leave. When you're a small business, you have to be very disciplined about making sure that you work a full day, that you're not distracted by errands or any kind of personalization, any kind of personal things. You have to be on point, that you create your marketing, that you create your processes, that you create your actual work, and have time for that. So discipline is the number one thing. The way that I overcame that is that you have to also ask yourself, how serious am I about my small business? And create a time management processes for yourself. I'm going to be here at my business from 8 to 5, 9 to 5, whatever it is, and you make that happen for yourself, and you do that consistently every day. You show up for yourself. And
that's great advice, because I think a lot of people think I'm going to be my own boss, I'm going to set my own hours, and the day goes by so fast that by the time you're done, if you've been pulled in so many directions and you haven't really been as productive as you need to be to move the needle, then something does have to change.
Mhm.
And tell me how you would recommend somebody grab hold of that. Is there a process that you could share with somebody to get somebody's time management under control, especially if it isn't their strength or they're struggling with it?
Yeah, absolutely. So I start off by creating a to-do list. Then I start putting that specifically in my time. So let's say I have to create a proposal. I will literally put that in my schedule, 9 to 10 a.m., create a proposal. And I start prioritizing each day, and I start adding things into each time slot so that I know what I can get done in a day, and that I know that my priorities will get done. Sometimes we tend to put the hard things aside.
Yeah.
And if that happens, then I would recommend starting with that when your energy is highest, so that you have the most amount of headspace, the wherewithal to actually do it. So for me, to tell you the truth, my brain is at the highest in the afternoon, rather than morning. So, and I know this, so I put all the hard stuff for me in the afternoon, and lo and behold, they get done. But if I had to do them in the morning, it's a loss. I'll ignore it. I'll just, go on social media. I know myself. So
I think what you're saying though is have enough self-awareness to realize what the gaps are. Like
yes.
where is your challenge, and then you can work and fix it. And I think that's with anything. And I always say that, celebrate those wins. If you got the majority of the proposal together, or when you did, you're like, pat yourself on the back and say that was a huge success, because that proposal is what's going to lead to revenue, right? That's what you needed to do. So
Right.
so I
That's
love
priority.
that. So when you first started, I want people first to understand what type of business you have and why you created this type of business. Because obviously, did you get up one day and go, all right, I want to do this? And how did it come about? So tell me how this company even evolved.
So I was an artist, a decorative painter for many years. Then, I created a blog, and then I started creating social media for it. Both got very popular, and I was asked by different companies in my industry, hey, can you do the social media for me? Can you blog for us? And I thought, sure. Then there was a huge crash, and in the housing industry, and my business, which, I did decorative painting for homes and commercial properties, it came down, and more people wanted me to market. And so I segued from that to same industry, but just doing social media, blogger outreach, it was at the time, and marketing plans, and within all that, project management. So it just kind of segued.
Evolved.
Yes.
Definitely.
And it got to the point after many, many, many years of doing this as a service that I wanted to teach this to small businesses, because for me, small businesses, they're the backbone. They create so many jobs. They elevate people. They're on their own, so it would be nice to provide them with, time management and project management and goal management and marketing management advice. And so that's what I do. And so now I teach at conferences and events, for small groups and for individuals online.
So how did COVID impact your business? I kind of stopped asking this question. And then all of a sudden I thought, why am I stopping this question? Because I think a lot of people are still trying to recover and, figure out what happened in their own business during COVID. So how did it impact you?
It brought the online platform faster for me, so creating online content became key. And that's, I just don't see that changing for myself.
No. No,
So
not at all. I mean, I had the same exact thing. I was teaching everything live at the community college, and all of a sudden it was shut down in an instant. And I'm like, I got to bring this all online. So it did, it escalated that. But imagine you pivoted, right? I mean, if you missed that opportunity, then, where would that be right now? So you're on mute. Okay, go ahead and, okay, you good?
yes, can you hear me
Okay,
now?
yeah.
Okay, good.
So yeah, there was a little bit of an echo going back and forth. I'm not really sure why, but hopefully things are clear now. So I'd like to know what has been the greatest success for you in entrepreneurship.
Making a difference for other small businesses. When they see success, it just, my heart gets so happy. If I could, that's really the greatest success for me.
How do you think others should define success in small business ownership? This is really hard.
If you're at a place where you enjoy your business, you enjoy your daily life, you have a good balance to your life, it's a wonderful life. And that's the greatest success you could have.
That's great. That is great advice. So what are some of the best practices you have picked up running your business that other people may be able to implement into theirs? What are some of the things you do to really move the needle?
Whenever I start anything, I think long term. So if, let's say, I'm picking, my website, let's say just a small process, picking a website, the platform. Is this platform going to be the right platform for me as I grow? Are the pricing of it something that I can handle of it? Because as you grow, the levels go. So you kind of have to take that into account, just kind of the long-term look of it. I've done that many times where I've gone to a platform where it's like, this is good for now. And then later on, I have to shift everything over to a better platform. And that takes so much longer and so much effort. And it's not the same to what my audience has been used to. And so now I know, just pick the best platform for where you think you're going to be, and it's going to be good. Take your time into account. If you need to get proposals done, discipline and sit down and get those proposals done. And that's because that's what's going to bring in revenue for yourself. And it's so tempting to go do other things. Create a social media post, create content, when you really need to have that balance of bringing money in and then doing the other quote unquote fun stuff.
So tell me what tech platforms you have found to be helpful in your business. Is there anything that stands out that you like?
Email marketing.
Which platform do you use?
I use it through my website, Squarespace.
Okay.
And
I love
the reason,
Squarespace. Yeah, I am on it, and I build all my websites for my clients on Squarespace. Absolutely, yeah. Yeah. So how do you like the marketing part? Because I use MailChimp. I have not incorporated that. So please educate me.
Okay, so I'll tell you the one reason I use the Squarespace email over any other email platform, and that is because they don't charge me for the amount of subscribers I have. So, and I took that into account, that the more subscribers, because that is one of my priorities, is to increase my email list, which should be the priority of many small businesses. I knew that the price tiers go up, where Squarespace keeps it at the same price no matter what. So for me, I'm just like,
that is huge. Okay, so I'm going to dive into this for my own selfishness today, but I'm hoping I'm helping everybody, because I have always loved Constant Contact. I work on MailChimp, and I've always said to small business owners, you get the first 500 free, and most have very small lists. So I'm like, why pay for anything? But now with having to build those websites for people, how much does it cost to just connect the email for unlimited subscribers so that you can grow with your business? Do you mind sharing that? I mean, I could probably go look it up, but
I want to say It's a little less than 200 a year. Don't quote me, Maureen. For some reason, the number 192 bubbles up. The others, MailChimp and Constant Contact, will probably be under that, depending if you have a low subscriber list. If you have a high subscriber list, it's going to go way beyond that. The other thing with Squarespace is that it pulls the way your website looks into your newsletter like that. So I don't have to struggle with bringing in my branded colors into a template or anything. It does it automatically. So I love that too. So that's an automation that I enjoy.
Oh my gosh, everybody out there, I am switching this. Like, I'm going to tell you, I pay $100 a month for MailChimp because I have a very large list, which is a good thing, right? Because building our list is our number one way to nurture, prospects, but also continue nurturing our existing. And I say to everybody, get everybody off social media, build your list. So if you're telling me it's about $200 a year,
yes.
Okay. I have to tell you, 1 year, Regina, I always do a tech overview. I got rid of one thing that was $1,200 a year this year. I always go through it. I have saved myself every single year by streamlining that stuff about $1,500 every year because people don't need all of that. So as soon as we get off here, I'm going to tell you right now.
And hopefully that's where I think we're around. And, whatever it is, it's going to be better, Maureen, than $100 a month. I'm telling you this right now.
All right, small business owners, let me tell you, Regina just gave you gold. I always say, keep the money in your pocket. Don't have somebody build their business off all of your money. So keep it in the bank. And so I'm going to be listening to my own advice. So thank you for enlightening me on that, because I see all my profiles coming in, signing up for my newsletter, but then they're all funneled into MailChimp. And so now I'm thinking, all right, so this is a done deal. Everybody out there, this is why I ask, what tech is working for you. All right, so tell me about lead gen, because it's all about conversions. I mean, that is the lifeblood of a company. If you don't have any money coming in because you haven't gotten any customers, then you're not going to be sustainable. So tell me, what is the best process you have as a lead generator, or how you're getting clients? What is your process?
For me, it's giving presentations regularly in front of groups. And I have different types of classes that I teach, different types of free presentations and different types of paid presentations. And it just depends on, if you give a free presentation, do you have access to their list? Can you email the attendees? If it's a public, if it's a paid presentation, you are paid for your time, but many times, people can follow you or find you, or you have access to a list. So that, for me, is the number one lead generation.
I'm right there. I'm right there with you, Regina. We are like totally on the same page. I do several speaking engagements a month, and I would rather forego the speaker fee for the list. And I always say to people, unless they're paying you $100,000, I'm going to tell you right now, get the list, because that's your bread and butter. They already know you. They're starting to like you. And now you're going to start building the trust factor. So I'm right there with you. That's my lead gen. But for people who out there who are not like speakers or presenters, or there's a little bit of fear, that's just not their jam. Is there another way that you find could be successful for people out there?
Yes, for that, I would recommend having resources on your website, resources that you create that target the pain points, the challenges of your particular target audience, and have that connected, that when they download that, you get their email address. And it's a win-win situation. You get their email address, they get something that helps them, and it's, for me, it's got to be a download that truly helps people. It's not a general overview. It's full of me. It's full of goodness for them.
And I love self-assessments, the quizzes, that sort of thing. And
I haven't tried those.
Oh, yeah. Those self-assessments and quizzes are great, Regina, because what it does is it allows enlightenment for them, right? But then you get the results of the quiz, so you already know what they're struggling with. So you can reach back out and say, you know what, you took this quiz. I realize you're struggling with this. There are some solutions. Do you want to have a chat? It is, and people love quizzes. Look at all like the weight loss quizzes they do. Let's find your blood type to lose this weight. You know what I mean? I kind of took a page out of that and
I
started
love
using
it.
it.
I
Yeah.
love it. I'm going to start incorporating that if you don't mind.
No, well, I'm going to start incorporating MailChimp out the door. So I think we're pretty even on this tonight. I love it. All right. So I want to talk about next steps for you. I want to talk about, 2024. We should already be planning this.
Mhm.
What big things do you have for your business that you want to accomplish in 2024?
The first thing is that I'm a part of a mastermind group, and
Mhm.
it has made such a difference for my business that I am launching one called Goal Getter. And because I very much like to lead people through goals and time those goals and help you achieve them small step by small step. So I'm launching a Goal Getter mastermind.
Awesome.
I am so excited for it because, as you know, I love making a difference in small businesses, and not only the goals they achieve, but the revenue that they bring in. And so I'm very excited to launch that. I have a new slate of classes. I'm actually asking my audience, my newsletter subscribers, which classes should they have, and on a survey. So I'm very excited to see the results of that.
This is a great point that you've brought up too. And I think it's one of the most overlooked. I don't know about you, but a lot of people don't want to do surveys. And I mean, it's market research with your like existing audience so that you can serve them better. But I think a lot of people, like if you send them a survey about not just what they need, but then a temperature check about how you're doing, I think people are fearful of what they're going to say and if there's any criticism. But it's the best way to make changes for what they have, and so I think that's a great way of reaching out and finding out what your audience needs from you, not what is on your agenda, right? We should
Right.
always be thinking not what we want to build, but what we need to build for them. I always say love your customers more than your company. I know people are like, really? I'm like,
Yes.
because you don't have a company without loving them first, right? I'm like, there's no company here if you don't put them as the priority. And I think sometimes that gets a little bit lost. So, all right. So every entrepreneur has their moments where they don't want to get out of bed. I mean, I've been there. I've built 6 companies. This is what I do. And there are days where I'm like, I just don't think I want to do this. And what are some of the things you do when you feel like you're questioning everything and things are just not going your way? What do you do to get over it?
I take the day. I don't force myself to work. I go out, I spend the day at a museum. I go to hiking. I go get out in nature. I go have lunch with my friends, whoever's available, or have dinner. I literally give myself the space to walk away and then clear my head, because sometimes it's just a bad day, and it doesn't mean you're going to feel that way tomorrow. Some great things might come in for you that week that make all the difference, so you just have to step away
and just kind of regroup.
Yep.
I think what you're saying is self-care is kind of important here, and recognizing that
Yes.
you're just grinding wheels or whatever. And it's not grinding gears. That's what it is. And it's just not going anywhere. So stop pushing yourself and step away. I have to tell you, I'm not very good at that. That is one thing I could probably take your advice on. I'm one of those, I'm just going to push. And sometimes you just can't push. You need to.
Because then it becomes forced and it's not authentic and it's not true. It's you trying to be your best self when you're not feeling your best self.
Yeah.
So
one of the things is and you probably already know this, is that I'm an instructor at Wharton on AI strategy, digital strategy and AI. And I'm doing most of my lectures on AI, ChatGPT. And I'm wondering from you as a business owner, how you think ChatGPT is going to be impacting you, and if you have any advice for people.
Oh, it's already impacted me. I enjoy using it. It's a great support for small businesses. People in everything, so and I like looking for the Chrome extensions to ChatGPT and adding them in and working different prompts to see what comes up. But a lot of it, I use it a lot for writing, but I use it differently. I actually write everything out myself.
Yeah.
It's me. And then I just, work sometimes with ChatGPT to make it better.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
me. I don't use it for you generate this for me and let's go from there. It's, because then it doesn't feel authentic.
That is the number one thing I mentioned yesterday. And I said to people, I can pick out now social media that totally use the chat with all the emojis
All the
everywhere.
emojis.
Oh gosh, ChatGPT is in love with emojis. They must have created it. And so you can pick it out and go, you know what? You didn't care enough about your audience to continue your brand tone and feel. I write everything too, and then I have to strip out a lot and edit it because I'm like, I would never use those words. My clients would never use those words. And so I think we have to be careful, but I think everybody should embrace it. And I'm so glad to hear that's great advice. Write it out, because this is not a crutch, right? This is you just getting a little bit of help, right? So where do you think in small business, we have a lot of them out there, a lot of them are not successful. What is the number one reason you think a business does not make it?
They don't look at their bottom line. They don't, and this is why I enjoyed your talk so much, because the profit, you have to think of profit. Not only what you bring in, but that what you bring in has to pay you and it has to pay all your bills. And then you have to have extra, and then you have to have extra for actual future use as well.
Yeah.
So not paying attention to that and not being cognizant of that.
You are so spot on with that. I think people underestimate how much it costs, and they don't pay themselves. They're like, oh yeah, I'm doing fine. I'm like, have you taken a paycheck? Well, no, I can't afford to. Then what are we doing here?
Right.
So you're absolutely right. It goes on for a couple years, and then they go, you know what? I can't keep pulling, to pay myself from a savings account. So You're absolutely right. So one last thing, I want you to explain to people out there who you serve. Okay, so who are the people who need to contact you, and how should they get a hold of you to do work with you?
So I serve creative small businesses. They are who I understand, and they, because they have to like you, know you, trust you, and then they buy from you. This is who I understand the most, creative small businesses. And so they can contact me. They can look at my website, rightbrainlovesleft.com. They can find me on Instagram at rightbrainlovesleft. And those are the two major areas that I work from. They can sign up for my newsletter. I give it's a weekly newsletter. I share time management and marketing management tips, and they can take a look and see how I write and what kind of vibe I have, and then decide whether they'd like to work with me or not.
That's awesome. And so people who want to do speaking engagements with you as well on these topics, same way to get a hold of you, right to your website or through Instagram. That's perfect. So will you come back and tell us how that mastermind is doing?
Yes, I'd love to. And we have to keep in touch. You are an amazing woman. And business owner and coach and help. You are tremendous.
Thank you so much. Absolutely. We're going to keep in touch. Absolutely. Especially since we're like SCORE buddies here, right? Because I know that you volunteer your time at SCORE, and I'm a huge advocate. I work with them and absolutely love the organization because they are such a help for small business owners. So you're not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. All right, everybody. We are just about done, and I want to say thank you so much for tuning in tonight. And we will be back next week with another rock star for another rock star conversation. And if you are a small business owner and you're looking to elevate your authority and get your information out there about what you do, how you can change somebody's life, you know what? Join me. Get a hold of me at 8simplesteps.net. let me know that you are interested in being a guest, because I'd love to hear your story. And I have an audience out there who wants to hear it too. All right, everybody, please reach out if you need anything. I will see you next week. And we have hit literally like the 30-minute mark. We're doing well.
Yes.
All right, everybody. Good night.